Welcome, YouTube. It's Birdo Prey 5, and it is, uh, what day is it? Tuesday, January 28th, 2019, and it has been 33 years since Space Shuttle Challenger exploded shortly after liftoff. And if you're my age, or within a few years of my age, at least younger, say 35 and up, you probably remember where you were when it happened. Maybe 36, I don't know. I was in second grade, I think, when it happened. So I guess maybe 38 and up. Vixen can tell. I don't know if she remembers. Hello, Thomas. Welcome, number one again, like the olden days. Oh, it's been a while, my friend. And he can hear me. Perfect. Bob Dog, I remember that day. Then you are of the correct age, and by correct I mean around or older than me. Thomas Potts says, yesterday was the anniversary of the Apollo 1 tragedy. Indeed it was. I was going to bring that up too because it often gets overlooked, but Buzz Aldrin himself tweeted about losing a dear friend in Apollo 1, ironically, but spookily, almost to the day that Challenger happened. January is not good years to be a good month to be an astronaut. Bob Dog was also in second grade. Yes, I'd actually come home for lunch. We had lunch early because I was like the youngest kids in the school had the earliest lunch hour. So it was an early lunch. I believe I watched it on TV because I was so into space at the time. I used to watch all the launches. And it was crazy. It exploded, and my mom had to get me back to school because it was only, I don't know what we got, 45 minutes or for lunch. Maybe it was an hour. I'm not sure. But we lived only 5 minutes away from the school. So she brought me back, and I went in, and I told the teacher, because I went right back into my class. I said the space shuttle blew up, and she didn't believe me because she was a bitch. No, but she didn't believe me. And it wasn't till other teachers, I guess, started talking, and then the principal made an announcement, and I was like, yeah, told you so. I wasn't like that, but I mean, she knew. So yeah, not something you wanted to be right about, but it did happen. And then we stopped going to space for a few years. It was like 5th grade, I believe, before Discovery became the first space shuttle to return to space. I kind of remember it because I was sharing a desk with my friend Michael, who ended up killing himself years later. He was the kid I talked about a while ago, that we had that rock when in 4th grade. We had a class rock collection, and we both said the same rock was ours at the end of the year, and I would have sworn at the time it was mine. But all these years later, I just don't remember. And so I did swear at the time it was mine. And the teacher, not knowing what to do, gave us each half the rock, but being I was the better student and frankly considered the more honest person, gave me the bigger half of the rock. And it pissed him off. Something, I mean, we stayed friends, but it pissed him off, and I mean, it was, but say by fifth grade we were still friends. We were sharing a desk, and so we covered our shared desk with like the insert of like one of the newspapers. I don't know if it was the Daily News or something at the time. They had a full color insert. Now you have to understand, in those days, whatever it was, the 80s, maybe 88 or something, newspapers didn't print in color. Only the Sunday edition was maybe in color, and only some of the pages. So for them to have a full color insert in a regular daily paper, that was a big deal. And it had these beautiful pictures of the new space shuttle. I mean, not that it was anything was really new about it, but you know, they said about these improved systems and the booster rockets and the O-rings and all this stuff, and it was just cool. And we kind of taped it over the wooden desk, and like, you know, it looked cool. We thought we were the coolest kids in class because we had space shuttle stuff on our desk. I don't think it lasted long. We kind of realized the ink from the newspaper got on our arms and hands and shit, and newspaper ripped up pretty easily. It was not designed to be a coverall for a elementary school desk, but yeah. So yeah, I was second grade when it blew up. My mom's sister and family has lived in Merritt Island, Florida, for decades and decades, which is literally right next to the Space Center. They get beautiful, beautiful views of all the rockets that would go up, and every summer we would go down to Florida to visit, and we always tried to see a space shuttle launch. We'd plan visits around it, but every time we'd go down, one would be delayed and delayed and delayed, and we'd never get to see it. The closest we ever got to seeing a space shuttle go off, we had been in Merritt Island, but then we had to go down to Fort Lauderdale for a friend's bar mitzvah. And we had a hotel on the beach, and it happened to be facing north, and the space shuttle went up, I guess, a couple of days after we left, and sure enough, looking north towards the Space Center, since Fort Lauderdale is directly south of the Space Center, after about, I don't know, 10, no, I said 10, I couldn't decide if I wanted to say 10 or 20, so I said 10. So about 10 seconds after launch, we were looking north, and sure enough, you could see the smoke stream and the flames. Like, it would look like a tiny little thing, but you could see it, this line going up, straight up into the sky. And that was pretty cool. So we did see a shuttle launch, with our own eyes in person, but we were like probably 150 miles away. I don't know. Alexa, how far is Fort Lauderdale from Merritt Island?
Fort Lauderdale is 170.3 miles from Merritt Island.
170.3 miles as the crow flies. So, yeah, 170 miles from the Space Center, and you could still tell that the space shuttle went up in the middle of the day, which was... I didn't ask. Alexa, shut... Thank you. Alexa, volume 7. This way you can hear her if she says something again, and I don't sound like I'm an idiot talking to myself. Thank you. Okay, let's get to some comments before I get too far behind. Vixen says, I'm here. I'm sorry I'm late. It's okay, Vixen. We all waited for you. Welcome, Anti-Ryan Johnson. Hey, Bird of Prey 5, never forget that day. Thomas Potts says, I was just 1 year old when Challenger exploded. I guess she would give you a pass on this one, Thomas. Do you remember where you were when the space shuttle started going back off again? Did that mean anything to you? And I remember where I was when Columbia exploded too, but of course, Columbia wasn't 33 years ago today. Columbia, I was in my apartment. The few years I was living on my own, I had an apartment, and I think it was a weekend morning. Was it a Sunday? It was a day I wasn't going to work. I believe it was a Sunday. It was a Saturday or Sunday, and yeah, I was watching the news in my bedroom, and I saw that it was supposed to be landing, and they were like all kind of weird, like we were told it was supposed to be landing at whatever time, and of course there was no sight of it on the runway, so people were like not sure what to make of it. And then you started seeing before NASA confirmed anything had really gone wrong, weathermen were releasing pictures of weather radar from the area, and you could just see this massive radar return of what turned out to be debris in the air from where it disintegrated. And then you started hearing the reports about wreckage falling to the ground between California and Texas. That was also sad. It's kind of weird, but you kind of wonder what was worse. Challenger. I guess Challenger was probably worse, because there's been documentaries, and honestly, I should look it up because I forgot the name of it, but it's a great documentary, and I have it. I have the name of it saved on my computer because it's just called The Challenger 2013. It came out in 2013. The Challenger, and it's documentary, kind of like a documentary drama, but very close to real events, but other actors playing the people involved, and there's some stuff that never got really made public. If you're in the know, you know what happened already. But basically, there's Challenger astronauts, at least 2, and possibly all of them, were alive after the explosion, and likely were alive until what was left of the cockpit hit the ocean. They may have passed out at some point during the fall, but they were certainly alive after the explosion because they had to manually trigger something that turned on an emergency oxygen system or something like that. And that was not something that ever got publicly released at the time. And then there was the whole thing about the estimated failure rate for the space shuttle, that the engineers had calculated that like 1 in 50 or so space shuttle missions would end in loss. But NASA doctored the numbers to make it like 1 in 1,000, and that was bullshit. And sure enough, by the time the program came to an end, we'd lost 2 shuttles after, like, I don't know, 100 plus missions. So it was damn well closer to the 1 in 50 than the 1 in 1,000. And it's not like people would have stopped going into space had it been 1 in 50. But, at least don't lie to your astronauts. They knew it was dangerous, but there was some debate as to just how dangerous. But yeah, if you anywhere you might find, I don't know if you can find it online, if it's on YouTube or maybe on Netflix or something, that the Challenger from 2013, that's pretty eye-opening piece. Ryan Johnson says he feels old now. Okay, and Thomas Potts says, and remember February 1st, the anniversary of Columbia. Yeah. So, I mean, this whole week, the 27th, the 28th, and the 1st, the worst tragedies in NASA history. And they're all around the same time of the year. That's kind of spooky when you think about it. Anyway, I would say Challenger was worse because A, they never made it into space, and B, we know at least some of them were alive through that, what had to be ridiculous, and they knew they were dead at that point because there was no possible way to survive falling into the ocean. You kind of just hope they passed out. Some people say that there were tapes NASA never released of their last words. They did release some audio, but that was captured by, as it was still transmitting. But some people claim that there were records, that there were tapes recovered from the wreckage that had like the real last words of the astronauts, but they either will never be released or they've already been destroyed. I don't know what to think. And it's a shame we haven't had a government we could trust in a long time. And maybe it's better, to be honest, because it's not really good for anyone if these guys and women were, breaking down like any human would in their last moments. No one could blame them, but it could do us no benefit and only bring harm to them, their reputation, and the country and the program as a whole. So it's not even that I'm totally against not making the info public if it existed. And we have a retracted message. Vixen says to Darth, put your pacifier back in. Oh, Vixen was 3 years old. Yeah, I guess that's about right. Darth tells her she's old, and she tells Darth to put her pacifier back in. And Darth says to me, first tragedy I ever saw on TV was 9/11. Wow. Anti-Ryan Johnson says I was surrounded by kids. Vixen says to Anti-Ryan Johnson, he's old. And Anti-Ryan Johnson said, and he's earned every wrinkle. Vixen says to Anti-Johnson, that's from too much smoking or sun or drinking. Okay, must have been the drinking, I think. Memory isn't what it used to be. Lol, says Vixen. Alex Brooks, hello Alex. It was 2 years before I was born. Oh well. Well, you youngins, you don't know what you missed. Anti-Ryan Johnson says, now I'm going to get a drink. Too many youngins. Yeah. They're going to need to get off our lawn. Oh, Jesus. Can I not pronounce lawn? Get off our lawns. Oh, that's not good. I'm sorry, guys. I didn't mean to yawn in your faces. You're probably all yawning now because it's contagious. Darth says Thomas Potts, 10 seconds, 3, another one for your list. Oh, yeah. Thanks for reminding him. Vixen says he almost swore off Alexa. No. Vixen says to Ryan Johnson, it's not our fault that he's old. Ryan Johnson says, kids age ya. Steal your life away. Vixen says, lol, next time get your tubes tied. Oh boy. There will never be a next time, says Ryan Johnson. I guess he is gone celibate. Concerning kids, that is. Okay, he specified it. Vixen is laughing. Resolute Germ says, hello all. Why is Bird talking national tragedy? Because it's the 33rd anniversary of it, Resolute, and I remember it quite clearly. Just the kind of things you do on the anniversaries of things that you remember like that. I don't mean to be a downer. It's certainly not supposed to be a down stream. It's just supposed to be remembering our history and, how far we've come. Hopefully. Vixen says, hi, we don't know. Well, I just explained it. Resolute says hello to Auntie Ryan Johnson. Bob Dog said Resolute Germ 33rd anniversary. Okay. Resolute Germ seems to be okay with that. Derek, welcome Derek. He says, hey ya, bird of prey, hope you're okay. Hey ya, all there in chat. Thank you, Derek, I'm doing decent. Darth says, bird of prey 5, rumor over here is they found body parts miles away and someone found a helmet with a head in it. Oof. Derek McManus says, hey man. Darth says to Derek, hey man. That's what helmets do, Darth, protect the head. I guess it's true. Now, if the whole suit could have been made out of the helmet material, maybe it would have been okay. Derek says, I saw bodies while torsos only held together by body armor after an explosion. Well, sorry to hear that, Derek. Darth says, Thomas Potts, lawn tonight is a gold mine. Lawn? Oh, did I say it because of the way I said lawn? Vixen says, Alexa, I love you.
I'm flattered. Thank you.
Cliff Height says, so do you just read comments here? I think I know how to read. Well, Cliff, I guess you might have missed the first, I don't know, 15, 20 minutes where I was talking about the history, my memories of the Challenger explosion, the being in school, the Apollo 1 explosion happening a couple of decades earlier, but the day before, and then Columbia's tragedy that happened February 1st, years later. We talked about that. Then I get to the comments, and then I talk some more, and then I get back to the comments. So that's kind of how it works here. So welcome to the video, welcome to the chat. Feel free to ask any questions if you'd like. Derek says, I remember Challenger was coming home from school, had stayed late for a club. My mom opened the window and shouted out about it. I thought she was joking. Darth says, Vixen above a room. My cousin your cousin A was murdered by an Italian American man with a beard and a bald head, so he had to send out goons after him. I don't think that happened, Darth. I think you are misremembering. And I don't think you ever had a cousin named that. Dale Stratford, welcome Dale. Says, I can't believe it's been that long. My mom used to always let me skip school to watch shuttle launches, but I was in school that day and she called me to come home. Oh, I was sure she misunderstood. Yeah. I didn't get to stay home to watch shuttle launches, but that one happened to be during lunch hour. You know, I was thinking about it. It's kind of weird, but 33 years, I almost would have thought it would be a lot more. I mean, I know I'm only 40, but it feels like it's been longer. Like thinking it was only 33 years ago. Only 33 years ago, Reagan was still president. Only 33 years ago, Challenger exploded. Um, to me, I mean, I'm only 40, but it sounds like those things would have been 50 years ago. It's such a strange feeling. Somehow, 33 years, even though that's a lifetime for some people, certainly the vast majority of my lifetime, it just doesn't feel all that long. And it feels like it should be longer. Vixen says to Darth, "Oh no, the Irish mob." Cliff says, "How do I get the blue name with a wrench?" You have to earn my complete and utter trust, or just ask me when I'm feeling in a good mood. And then you can become a channel moderator. Derek says, "Hi there, Cliff. Things are a bit organic here. It tends to grow." Yeah, they like me reading the comments. I'll be honest. I'd be happy to skip all the ones except the ones that specifically mention me, but it's kind of my thing. I know it's not the biggest audience, but wow, 16. We're at record numbers almost. But yeah, these guys and girls, they like to hear their comments read, so I oblige. Derek says, that's the one I just read. Thomas says, "Have you heard from Anti-Tracker since his stream? He is not streaming from his daughters tonight." No, I haven't heard. I was hoping he would stream. It's very possible he'll start streaming any minute. They are 3 hours behind, so it's only 5 p.m., 5:07 p.m. There, and he did say that she was going to provide him with a number of substances only available in a few states. So it is quite possible that he is not in a condition to stream right now, or that time has lost all meaning for him. So I hope we see him tonight. Of course, if he does come on, I will throw everyone off so we can all go watch, because I would definitely like to see half-baked Anti-Tracker stream.
You've got
especially if there's a better internet connection than he's had. But I don't know. Maybe it'll be later tonight, because I'm sure he's probably got used to the time difference by now. Derek says Anti-Tracker is probably high as a kite by now. Indeed. Cliff says Joe doesn't eat organic. That is true. Generally, that is true. Vixen says, "Can I have a wrench? I'd be good at getting rid of trolls." Vixen, we don't really get rid of trolls here, but I would be hard-pressed not to give my YouTube wife, actually my Las Vegas wife, a wrench. So you have a wrench, just don't really use it to ban anyone. People have to be really, really bad to be worthy of a banning. Derek says space exploration is dangerous. If it was easy, everyone would do it. Indeed it is. DJ Odyssey, welcome DJ. Says, "I got a question." Oh, DJ, I actually asked her that in my Joe and Alexa show. But, fucking A. She came on. "Alexa, How much wood would a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood?
A woodchuck would chuck all the wood he could chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood.
There's your answer, DJ. Vixen says, what kind of name is A, Darth? Derek says, hey there, DJ Odyssey. Thomas Bond says, 5 Houston police officers shot, 1 suspect dead, 2 unknown location. That's sorry to hear. I do not have the news on, but sorry to hear that. Derek says, a made up one, Vixen. Darth says to me, she was murdered by a man called Don Bird Doley. And he grew, and his goons vavoom, and fingers and smiles, smileys. Smiles? Smileys? Cliff Height says, my first tragedy was 9/11. Was this as big an event where everyone turned to the TV as 9/11? No, nothing like 9/11. Most people were at work. They made announcements maybe that it happened, but to be honest, there was only 2 minutes of TV footage, not even, and they played it quite a bit, but they didn't play it over and over again. Schools weren't dismissed, highways weren't closed. People local to the Space Center, yeah, they had disruptions in their day, but the most of the country did not. The biggest difference that it made on the national level was that President Reagan was supposed to give his State of the Union address later that night, and he ended up postponing it because of the tragedy. In fact, I have the video. He gave a brief 6-minute speech to the nation instead that night, and I have the video queued up to play. I was thinking of playing it. It's only a few minutes long, but that was really it. I mean, yeah, they talked about it afterwards, but I mean, I gotta say, after 9/11, I think it was 6 or 7 years, literally. I mean, I was living in New York City, so understand, maybe we had a little bit more interest in it than other places in the country, but 6-7 years at least, where every single day of your life, every single day, usually multiple times a day, somewhere, somehow, someone brought up 9/11. 99% of the time, towards the end of those years, it was the TV news. In some way, they would mention 9/11. They would work 9/11 into the story somehow. It was, I don't know, I think it was like 2008, maybe 2007, but like, I think it was like 2008 before I realized, oh my God, I was up in my shower. I remember I had a radio I used to listen to in my bathroom, news radio. I'd put on the AM news while I took a shower, and I was thinking, I was like, oh my God, did a day just go by that I didn't hear someone say 9/11. So it was nothing like that, because, I mean, yeah, this was a big deal for a week or two, perhaps, but after not all that long, I mean, the jokes were going around, maybe a week later, because, I mean, without the internet, these things spread slower. But the joke was, what does NASA stand for? Need another 7 astronauts. After that, though, there really wasn't any talk about it until Discovery came back a couple of years later and started flying again. But to be honest, the country mostly forgot about it after a couple of weeks, and life went on. And even when it happened, yes, it was tragic and sad, and America mourned together, but nobody felt threatened. Nobody felt like this could be the beginning of the end, or that the next space shuttle disaster was right around the corner. Obviously, we knew it wasn't. They stopped flying them. So, no, 9/11 was a million times worse than the Challenger disaster or the Columbia disaster. Having not been alive for the moon landing, only thing I could imagine was that 9/11 may have been like the reverse of the moon landing. As good as the moon landing probably was for years to come, where people would say, but God damn it, we landed on the moon. Like 9/11 was probably the inverse of that. That's the only thing I could imagine it compared to. That, or, of course, Pearl Harbor. But then that was way before my time. Darth says, only 33 years ago. I was born only 30. Vixen says, Derek, I know. DJ says, I was in high school. Derek says, only 40. Berto Prey, 5. Lol, I'm 47. Yeah, only 40, Derek. Thomas Potts says, I know, I look like I'm a lot older. It's fine. I know I do. Thomas Potts says, it feels like yesterday for 9/11. Yeah, it still does. In many ways. Vixen says to Darth Ray, drink your milk and shut up. Oh boy. Dale Stratford, I think I welcomed you already, Dale. Maybe it was yesterday. It was a big deal in my family because my sister was one of the finalists to the teacher in space. So my mom was freaking more than normal. Yeah, that's weird. I mean, that is, I'm not gonna say it's weird. Obviously, they were finalists. It hits close to home. I remember years later, I was in class and 2 teachers were talking amongst themselves, and one had asked the other, which hit you harder, the Kennedy assassination or the Challenger disaster? Because they were older teachers. And the older one said, oh, Kennedy assassination. And the younger one said for her, it was the shuttle, because she had applied to be the teacher. I don't know how far she got, but the very fact that she applied and she felt like, man, that could have been her. Because don't forget, that was the mission, the first U.S. mission, and I believe only U.S. mission from NASA, where a civilian was on board. I know the Russians have sent up civilians who have paid to go up to the space station and up into space, but I don't think NASA has taken any space tourists before or since. And although she wasn't technically a tourist, she was a civilian. So yeah, her dying not only was detrimental to her family and the country, but man, that class that had her and the school that had her, that had to be, you think about that, that had to be crazy. Who's your teacher? Oh, my teacher died on the space shuttle. And all the, she was set to come back a hero. Instead, she died a hero. Though, a hero who really just got on the space shuttle. Not the type of things you want to dwell on. No good can come from it. Thomas Potts says, mob members get a wrench. Darth says, Vixen, it's strawberry water, you Dinkleberry. Oh, Jesus. I'm a mafia wife. Does that count? Yes, Vixen, it counts. Bob Dog is laughing. I'm a ways behind on the chats. Okay, let's try and speed this up. Vixen says to Darth, well, it's the baby bottles, so how was I to know? Uh-oh. Resolute Germ, it's your stick bird, that's why we watch. Well, thank you. Derek says, Thomas, I remember 9/11, was at home with the twins. I was in the Royal Navy Reserve at the time, and I knew we would be called up. Darth says to Vixen, you're mean, I'm blocking you. Uh-oh. Vixen blocked for 9 hours. Yes. Thomas Potts says, Derek, 9/11 was my second day in high school. Dale says to Cliff, I think it was bigger TV event than 9/11 because there was no net, no other source of news than the 3 main TV channels. So it was more of a shared event. Most didn't even have CNN. Vixen is yaying at her wrench and sending me hearts. Derek says, scary stuff. I called my wife at the time. They had no idea. Darth said to me, I bet Anti-Tracker was lying on the floor, freaking out and asking if he can leave the room, and are his shoes going to eat him? Very possible, Darth. Very possible. Vixen is the greatest mod on YouTube, not sucking up, says Thomas. I guess she's my first wrench wench. Darth says to DJ, Odyssey, sup, man. Vixen says to Thomas, thanks, I was just about to ban you, but now I've changed my mind. I may have created a monster here, people. DJ Odyssey says, sup to Darth. Darth says, DJ Odyssey, how's you been? Okay, I will skip the personal one-to-one discussions. Derek says, Darth, that drug just chilies, and you just released, and it just relaxes you, allegedly. DJ had a long day, he's just trying to relax. Anti-Ryan Johnson says, Vixen the Banhammer. Vixen says, I won't abuse my power much. And asks Darth if he's still mad, bro. DJ Odyssey says, we didn't need the guidance counselors like the snowflakes today needed after Trump got elected. That is true. Darth says to me, my grandfather, born in 1926, never believed the original moon landing happened. He said they didn't have enough technology, know-how to do it, and kept saying it until he passed in '03. Well, he's definitely entitled to his opinion, but I would disagree with him. Vixen is lolling. Darth is saying to Vixen, cash me out, side, how, what? I don't even know. Derek says, Omega bomb 15th August 98 was a bad one here in Northern Ireland. Bit of a showstopper. Big bomb, gotcha. Dale says, as far as historical importance, 9/11, I guess, has to be considered higher up, but there were a lot more sources of info. For the shuttle was just TV at the time. I think living in New York was worse. Vixen is laughing at Darth. Resolute Germ says the news and the government bring it up as much as possible. Vixen says, up in his shower, the story is getting better. Darth says, Vixen, control yourself, woman. Thomas says, 9/11 brought fear to the entire country. It changed everything. It did indeed. Ryan Johnson, I still remember the fighter jets flying in the area near my job after 9/11. Cliff Height is laughing at the NASA joke. Darth says, Bird of Prey 5, the amount of conspiracy theories that came out for years after was ridiculous. Need another 7 astronauts. Never heard that. Thanks, Joe. Now, this is your source for 33-year-old jokes, Cliff. Uh-oh. I got money. That means somebody... I don't know if they're paying for me to do something. Let's see. Okay. I've got a request to do a song, but I don't know if I can do it on this stream because it might get demonetized. So I will have to look at it and see what can be done with it. Thank you, John. Uh, oh, this is a short song. Let's see, other lyrics. There are no lyrics. Oh, wait, there are lyrics. Okay, well, I can't play the music. Okay, well, I will leave that up, and I will figure out a way to do that, John. Maybe I'll do a special stream just with that song, just in case it gets demonetized. But thank you very much, my friend. Thomas Potts, Darth says to Thomas, America moaned. Another one. Derek says, don't get on a shuttle with a name beginning with a C. Yes, Challenger, Columbia. Vixen says Darth, but we are in our honeymoon phase. Cliff says Enterprise is the best shuttle. Well, it is the best named shuttle, I'll give you that. Of course, the fact that it could never actually fly to space, a little bit of a ding to me. Just, I hate to say it because of what it means to Star Trek Discovery, but truth be told, Discovery was always my favorite shuttle. No relation to the Star Trek show of the same name. Thomas Potts said, I had a Columbia jacket called Challenger series. Darth says to me, do you think we'll live long enough to say and now? Do you think we will live long enough to say and now with the Mars landings? Well, you're younger than me, Darth. I'd imagine you will be alive to at least see an attempt to land a human on Mars. I don't know if it will work, and I don't know if they'll make it back. It might be a one-way trip thing. I'm not 100% sure. Mars is so exponentially far further and harder than the moon that I really don't know if we have the tech, or if we're even 10 years away from the tech to do it. I mean, there's so much radiation in space. The absurdity of trying to be able to come back from that distance. I mean, just the fact that Mars is gonna keep rotating away from the Earth. And I mean, between its closest approach and its furthest approach, I mean, that's, even at its closest approach, it is like, I don't know, 1,000 times further than the moon or something. And at its furthest approach, it's like 100,000 times further than the moon. And yes, I'm making these numbers up, but I'm pretty sure that in general, they get the point across. It is ridiculously harder to get to Mars, even at its closest approach, and downright impossible to get back from Mars for the half a year or whatever that it's on the far side of the sun from Earth. So it would be crazy. I honestly can't see humans living on Mars full time. Maybe if we have some type of breakthrough in engine tech, that we could shoot a return vehicle to Mars to land before the humans take off, and then they could go there, spend a week or two, and then hopefully take off and come back before Mars is too far away from Earth. Maybe. I really don't know. I really don't know. The timing would have to be damn near perfect. You couldn't, if you were a week or even, God forbid, more than a week late trying to launch, you'd probably lose the entire window. So I don't know. I wish it, I definitely want them to be working on it. I think we should. I think it would mean a lot to society, to Earth, to the country, that we do it. But reality, it is, I'd say it's damn near impossible. But, that's the whole point. Doing something everybody thinks is impossible. Dibs, my cousin Dibs. Hey, Joe, hope all is well. All is well, Dibs. Hope all is well with you. Vixen says he doesn't look older to me. He looks about 40. Thank you, Dibs. Vixen says hello to Dibs. Thomas says consider using Enterprise to replace Challenger, but it would cost. They considered using Enterprise to replace Challenger, but it would have cost too much to modify it for space. Yeah, it was easier to just build a whole new shuttle. They built Endeavour, of course, the most modern of the shuttles. Dib says, hey, to Vixen, how did you get my name highlighted? My phone isn't cool enough when I press @ I guess. Yeah, if you put the @ sign and someone's name, it will highlight your name, but it's only when somebody uses your name in a comment, Dibs. If you put the @ sign in front of like my name, I see it highlighted, but you don't. Assuming you're still here, which you're probably not. Resolute Germ says, good old Russian doing anything for money, no matter how dangerous. Vixen says, the Dibs, you have to do 2 letters or so, put in VI, and then the name pops up and you can select one. Dale says, it changed the course of my life. I wanted to be an astronaut. That changed. 9/11 was extremely traumatic in other ways, but it didn't change my life path. Wow. And Dibs is trying to get Vixen. He's saying no menu comes up, unfortunately. Derek says, Vixen is a wench. A wench now, yes. She's got to she has to teach people how it works. Dibs, tell your phone she or he sucks. Oh boy. Lol. John says, check your PayPal. Thank you, John. I did. I'm going to figure that out. I guess I need to listen to it first. But it's not a song I've heard before. But I think for the next stream, at the minimum, we will have a song to sing. A special request from John. Darth says to me, My second standard age 8. My second standard age 8 passed away from cancer on Christmas holidays. We came in and we got told she had passed away. I'm sorry anybody passed away, Darth. I'm not sure I know what a standard is. Vixen asked John, did you just do a mob payoff? Don't worry about it, Vixen. Don't ask about my business. Dibs says, iPhone XR Vixen. Guess it does suck. Vixen's on an iPad, so you would think it should work nearly the same. Darth says to Vixen, I have one thing you will never have, strawberry water. Ha 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 ha. Vixen says to Dibs, make Joe buy you a new one. Oh boy. Darth, lol. Derek says, in July I will pay Bird of Prey 5 to sing the sash my father wore to annoy Darth. Thomas Potts says, do you have a stream plan this week? Me? Do I have a plan to stream? Yeah, I don't think that far out ahead, Thomas. I would imagine probably evenings for the next week, more or less. I don't know, sometime between 5 and 7 p.m. Eastern starts. But I do plan to stream most days, as long as I'm feeling okay and all's well. I don't see any reason not to. I'll definitely be doing some lives like this and some more of the city skylines. And I've got a couple of songs to sing, so I'll probably get them both done in one stream. So that might be a short stream, or it might not even be a stream. I might just sing it and then upload it, just in case the YouTube bot wants to take it down. DJ Odyssey says, have a good one. See ya. Take care, DJ Odyssey. I'm sorry, Thomas. I will try to get you post some type of schedule as soon as I get something worked out. Dibs says, I won't take money from Joe Vixen. He's saving up for some more Bitcoin. Lol. I'm right, Bird of Prey. Is that the March of the Wooden Soldiers song, Joe? I don't know what the March of the Wooden Soldiers song is. Darth says, Thomas, woot, that's number 4. Vixen says to me, how dare you say that about Discovery? We are getting a divorce and I get sassy. No. You get Alexa. You're going to Vixen. And she has nothing to say about that. Thomas says, no, he said Discovery Shuttle. That's true. All shuttles have good names, says Derek. Darth says to Derek, it's how things in the north since the bomb in Belfast last week. Hope you're all okay. Thomas says Obama canceled Mars, so it's up to China. I'd be very upset if China made it to Mars before we did. Darth says, hope you're all okay. Darth says, thanks, Obama. Thomas says, but we still have to win the war on the moon before we going to Mars. Yes, the moon aliens, they would probably shoot down any attempt to get to Mars. Vixen says, insert bad joke about Chinese restaurants being on Mars by the time we get there. Oh boy. John says, AOC says global warming is going to kill us in 12 years, so there's no point in planning a trip to Mars. Well, if we can get a couple of people to Mars, we can at least escape the Earth before it kills us all. And then, centuries later, they can come back, find it being run by damn dirty apes, not know it was Earth until they see the Statue of Liberty head sticking out from a beach, and then they'll know all along it was Earth. That is a completely original idea, by the way. I don't any similarities to any work of fiction is totally accidental. Darth says, I hate you. Okay. John is lolling. He did the deed, says John. Derek says Mars will be full-scale assault with the intention to stay out and not return. Well, if you believe that Marine that I spoke about last week, there's already humans on Mars and Marines guarding them from native Martians. So, and if you believe in Futurama, the Wong family already owns Mars, so maybe the Chinese did make it there first. Of course, in Futurama, the first Martian was Philip J. Fry, named after his uncle, to carry on his spirit and his lucky 7-leaf clover, I believe. That was a great episode. A great episode of Futurama. Noticeably FAT, lay down a beat. Then Fry. Style. Outer space. Move, moonwalk. And then Fry's brother comes up. And style. Deep space. And his move was a total rip-off of the moonwalk. And Fry got pissed. And then he did like a, I don't know, quintuple, whatever, head spin. And then he went and he put his clover into an album of what? Breakfast Club or something? In the safe. You would think he would have kept it on him. Thomas says, I'm on my phone for direct messages. Someone I have to type their whole name. Well, that's unfortunate. Vixen says, Bird of Prey 5, I tried to teach dibs, but it didn't work. It's okay, Vixen. Thomas Potts says, okay, next time whoever asks, I would say type in the whole name. Bird of Prey 5, okay, I won't ask about the family business. Resolute Germ, that's a good little mob wife, indeed. Vixen says, damn it, she doesn't want Alexa. No one wants you. I'm sorry. Resolute Germ, lol, thanks. Get your paws off me, you damn dirty apes. Yes, The Simpsons. Oh, The Simpsons. I hate every ape I see. From chimpanzee to chimpanzee, you'll never make a monkey out of me. And he turns and he sees the Statue of Liberty. Oh my gosh, I was wrong. It was Earth all along. Well, you finally made a monkey. Chorus. Yes, we finally made a monkey. You finally made a monkey out of me. I love you, Dr. Zaius. That was Planet of the Apes, the musical, starring that Simpsons character played by Phil Hartman. Troy McClure. You may remember him from such, I don't know, such Simpsons episodes as the one where he married Selma. And the one where he advertised a spa that Marge went to. And he also would play the lawyer on occasion. Poor Phil Hartman. One of the best characters of The Simpsons. His loss definitely brought down the show. Down a peg. All thanks to his no good wife. Shot him. I wonder what he did. Requisition me a beat. Yes, that was it, Derek. Planet of the Pimp, says John. Vixen says you are so cute when you smile. Aw, Vixen. I'm going to turn red now. John is lolling. Oh, Vixen is lolling at John. Derek says to Vixen, get a room. Vixen says, Derek, I have a room, but Joe isn't in it. Oh, that's true. Derek says, that's not good, is it? I don't know what we're talking about. Oh, that I'm not there? I guess. Thomas says, I can't believe you remember that song from The Simpsons. Thomas, this is going to be embarrassing. But let's face it. You come here for embarrassing. Back, I had just graduated, I think, college. And I was in a fraternity. I told you guys, it was professional engineering fraternity, Theta Tau, and we were having our 5th anniversary chapter dinner, and we were all, dressed up like we were going to a wedding or something. We rented out a catering hall, and a lot of people brought their girlfriends or their boyfriends, however, it's because we had co-ed members. We also had our faculty member. He went through the full pledge cycle because he had to be initiated like a regular brother, because long story short, we kind of wasted our one honorary membership on the wrong guy. So we needed him to become an actual member so he could be our I don't know, professor or whatever, faculty advisor, whatever we had to have. So he came to the thing, and I was either still regent or had just finished being regent, which was president, and I hadn't really yet gotten too heavily into Frank Sinatra. So the songs I knew best were Simpsons songs. So I had a CD of Simpsons songs, and I had them play it. And for God knows what reason, but I think I was pushed into doing it, I sang along to that song, the whole Dr. Zaya song. And there's video of me, and the professor, he was a good sport. He did it too. Yes, and we sang that song, and it was quite embarrassing. I don't know what would have possessed me to do that. But yeah, I remember quite a few songs of The Simpsons. In fact, The Simpsons songs and TV themes in general, and songs from The Simpsons, damn near some of my favorite songs. And I would love, if anybody ever wants hear a Simpsons song, or like a song from Animaniacs or something, or the Jeffersons theme, something like that. I mean, God knows, I love the Dukes of Hazzard theme. It's the ringtone on my phone. Yes, I used to sing those all the time. In my own car, in the privacy of my own car. Remember in the Garden of Eden song from The Simpsons? Yeah, I pretty much do. Bart, it gives out different music to everybody during church. And the Reverend says, in the Garden of Eden by L. Ron Butterfinger or something. In the Garden of Eden, baby, don't you know that I'll always be true? In the Garden of Eden, baby. It goes on, and Homer goes to Marge. Don't you remember when we used to make out to this hymn? And the poor organ woman is like going nuts trying to hit all these notes. And Reverend Lovejoy is like looking at this, and he's like, this sounds like rock and or roll. And he gets all the kids together afterwards, and they're in a circle, and he's making them all repeat after him. Whoever did this, if you don't tell me whatever, I swear I will go to hell where I'll eat not but burning hot coals and drink not but burning hot cola, where ravenous birds and single mothers will tear out my eyes or something. And then like a crow chirps at the window, and Milhouse, scared shitless, says, Bart did it, that Bart, right over there. And Bart gets pissed at Milhouse. And Reverend Lovejoy pulls Bart. He says, you come with me, mister. And then he pulls Milhouse too. He says, you too, snitchy. And then he makes them both clean the organ that they befouled with their popular music. Great episode. In the Garden of Eden, honey, don't you know that I'll always be through? In the Garden of Eden, baby. I guess I don't know every line, but I certainly remember the episode. Vixen says, no, it is not. No, it's not. I don't know what she's saying, no. That's not good, is it? Oh, no, it's not. Maybe next time, Vixen, says Derek. Vixen says, I hope so. Happy with that, Vixen. Aw, says Vixen. John says, who doesn't remember Mr. Plow from The Simpsons? Everybody remembers Mr. Plow. Mr. Plow, that's my name. That name again is Mr. Plow. And then Plow King. Linda Ronstadt. Yeah, her and I have been meaning to do a set together for a while. Mr. Plow is a loser, and I think he is a boozer. So call whatever the Plow King. Blah, blah, blah. And then they smash a cardboard cut-up of Homer. Oh. Yeah, another epic Simpsons. Homer's looking for the plow. He's like, I can't afford this. He's like, hey, buddy, this doesn't cost money. This makes money. You clear driveways in the winter and make the payments. Yeah. Do the Bart man. Yeah. They did it for blackmail, which was racist, by the way. I forget what that would be, Vixen. We need that video, says Resolute. I don't have a copy of that video. I don't know if the person who had a copy still has it. But I will tell you, the person who has the copy, who might have the copy, has been in our video, in not my cousin Dibs, but someone else who I do know from real life. He has been to at least one of my videos before. So it is not out of the realm of possibility he will one day come to my videos again. And if he does, you guys can ask him if he has that video. Prank call Mo. I can't ask her to do that. Family Guy songs? No, Tom. I mean, I could look them up, but I don't really remember Family Guy songs. I mean, Simpsons songs I listen to, and I listen to, and I listen to over and over again over the years. One with where Homer becomes a manager for the country music. Right, he goes to the other bar, and the woman gets up to sing, and she ends up falling in love with Homer, but they're recording a track at the recording studio. Colonel Homer, she calls him. Well, the bases were empty on the diamond of my heart. I'd been swinging and missing and loving and kissing. My average was .008 or something. So I spat on my shoes and I something and I stepped on up to the plate. This time love was for real. This time I'm hitting a home run. This time love is for real. I've lived, I've loved, I've sacrificed or something. This time I finally bagged me a homer. Yeah, I know. Okay, I was off on that one. Not my best. I'd have to reread it just once, but it's in there. Also, I don't want to sound like a woman professing my love to a man. Dibs says he's back. Quick question. This is directed towards Bird. Or whom? Oh, this isn't directed towards Bird. Whoever could help. I started a YouTube channel specially for gaming today, and I noticed that I'm not searchable on YouTube. Dibs, it takes a while to get into the search. YouTube, I mean, they've got millions and millions and millions of accounts. It might take a day, I don't know, before you'll come up in the search. Make sure your video is public. Well, let me go to your channel. Dibs, I'm at your channel, and well, I'll subscribe, and I'll hit that bell icon. But it says this channel doesn't have any content. Oh, okay. Let me guess, this is Dibs. Sorry, I just updated my phone and now it's got to go through a bunch of screens. It's a different channel. Understood, Dibs. Okay, well, I guess since I already spent this much time, let me try to type it in and see if I don't understand. Oh, I get it. Let's see if anything comes up. No results found. Yeah, I would say give it a day. Give it a day and see if it shows up. Okay, guys, I'm gonna need a minute. So, in the spirit of tonight, we are going to watch. Sorry. We're going to hear a little bit from President Reagan, and I'll be back as soon as I can. Just give me a minute or two.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'd planned to speak to you tonight to report on the State of the Union. But the events of earlier today have led me to change those plans. Today is a day for mourning and remembering. Nancy and I are pained to the core by the tragedy of the Shuttle Challenger. We know we share this pain with all of the people of our country. This is truly a national loss. 19 years ago, almost to the day, we lost 3 astronauts in a terrible accident on the ground. But we've never lost an astronaut in flight. We've never had a tragedy like this. And perhaps we've forgotten the courage it took for the crew of the shuttle. But they, the Challenger 7, were aware of the dangers, but overcame them and did their jobs brilliantly. We mourn 7 heroes: Michael Smith, Dick Scobie, Judith Resnick, Ronald McNair, Ellison Onizuka, Gregory Jarvis, and Krista Mikaloff. We mourn their loss as a nation together. The families of the 7, we cannot bear, as you do, the full impact of this tragedy. But we feel the loss, and we're thinking about you so very much. Your loved ones were daring and brave, and they had that special grace, that special spirit that says, give me a challenge, and I'll meet it with joy. They had a hunger to explore the universe and discover its truths. They wished to serve, and they did. They served all of us. We've grown used to wonders in this century. It's hard to dazzle us. But for 25 years, the United States space program has been doing just that. We've grown used to the idea of space, and perhaps we forget that we've only just begun. We're still pioneers. They, the members of the Challenger crew, were pioneers. And I want to say something to the school children of America who were watching the live coverage of the shuttle's takeoff. I know it's hard to understand, but sometimes painful things like this happen. It's all part of the process of exploration and discovery. It's all part of taking a chance and expanding man's horizons. The future doesn't belong to the faint-hearted. It belongs to the brave. The Challenger crew was pulling us into the future, and we'll continue to follow them. I've always...
That's when a president looked like a president. I was a little concerned it might have been a little low for you guys, else I would have let it play to the end. Give me a minute to find where I was in the comments. Vixen says single female lawyer. Yes, the Futurama episode where the aliens from Omicron Perseus 6 or 8 come and they demand to see an episode of basically Ally McBeal, and Fry and company have to put on the episode. Yeah, that was funny. Chief Cook says, hi guys, welcome Chief Cook. Lorleen, yes, Lorleen, that was the name of the singer, Scruggs. I never knew her last name. Resolute Germ says, is Dibs the channel name? No, Dibs is not the channel name. He sent it to me. I don't know if he wants it public yet, so I'm not going to make it public. But Dibs, if you're still here and you want to make it public, you feel free to put it into the chat or whatever you want to do. Or you could put a link directly to the channel if you want. Chief Cook says, hi to Vixen. Bagged me a homer. Yes, finally bagged me a homer. Dibs says, okay, Joe. And yes, Vixen, I'm a man, lol. John says, I'll forget by tomorrow. John, lol. Vixen says, that's a beautiful speech. Yes. He had God's speechwriters. The great president, says Chief Cook. Vixen says, this wouldn't fit in perfectly as a Star Trek speech. This would fit in perfectly as a Star Trek speech. Maybe it could be the new opening theme to Discovery. Tragedy. Dibs says, okay, Vixen, I'm not offended, but as punishment, when I officially release my new channel, a subscriber would be suffice. And a possible follow on all other social platforms I'm promoting on. That seems like a fair compromise to me, Dibs. Plus, Vixen, you're part of the family now, so you're kinda obligated. Vixen says, Dibs, link me and I'll give you a follow now, and of course I'm on any of them, lol. If I'm on any of them, lol. John says, how did Burnham mutiny and start a war where hundreds of thousands have died, hundreds of ships were destroyed, captains killed, ships destroyed, and not get executed? Well, apparently they didn't even have the death penalty, except in cases of visiting the Telosian planet. So, the last remaining death sentence in the Federation. At least, 5 or 10 years later. John says, quickest life sentence ever. Chief Cook says, Vixen, where are you from? Thomas says, I don't think that was the full speech. No, I stopped it with about 2 minutes to go. I could put the rest on. Maybe I'll end the stream with the last couple minutes. It's paused. Dib says, Jenks, thanks Joe. I will link it when it's ready for release. And Vixen sounds good. Vixen says, John, because of the F-tards in charge of STD. And then she tells Chief Cook she is from Vermont. You poor woman, Vixen, how do you survive? Well, it's her secret to tell, I suppose, if she wants. So, hibernate, says Vixen. Let us go back to the Opera browser. We can come back to this in a minute. Let's see. What are we checking out? Anti-tracker. Has there been any updates to the captain's log? 9:12 p.m. That's an old reply. No. Nothing from Anti-Tracker. Yeah, this is the test account, not my account. I have read things, so. And no, we don't want to watch that. Don't want to watch that. We don't want to watch that, not tonight at least. I think that's too old to worry about now. This is a terrible video, but not for tonight. Twilight Zone, no, it's always good to watch. Yeah. This is the Alexa commands that are Star Trek related. Okay, well.
You have Star Trek Discovery. Black alert enabled. Do you want to open it?
No, it's racist.
You have Star Trek Discovery. Black alert enabled. Do you want to open it?
No. She's pushing that black alert on us. I don't know why. That is not okay. That is not okay. Do I see bird behind bird? You see a number of birds behind bird. Oh, Anti-Tracker. Oh, he responded to a private message I sent him. I thought he was going live, but he's on the forum and he just responded to a private message. I guess I should read it. You guys won't see it, of course, but I will. Vixen asked Dibs, is he my cousin? And he might have left, but yes, he is indeed my cousin. Chief Cook says, Vixen, there's nothing on your site. Vixen says, no, for the love of all things holy, no black alert. Chief Cook says, Alexa, begin scanning.
Sorry, I don't know that one.
Good. Alexa is racist, says Vixen. John says, black alert. Alexa, black alert.
Black alert. Black alert. Black alert. Black alert. Black alert. Black alert.
I don't know if you guys can hear it, but
Black alert.
why? Who would design this?
Black alert.
Who thought this would be a good idea? The same people who thought that season 1 and
Black alert.
Star Trek Discovery would be the greatest thing ever.
Black alert. Black alert.
Alexa, cancel. Oh my God. It's like torture. They should call it an agony booth. Where does Dibs live again? Uh-oh. Thomas Potts message deleted by Chief Cook? What could Thomas have possibly said? Alexa, black alert. You can't go deleting requests for black alert, Chief Cook, especially after I've already said them. Vixen says, where does Dibs live again? Dibs lives within the confines of New York City, like myself. Vixen says, Thomas Potts, damn you. Derek says, in a house. Yes, indeed, in a house. Thomas, why did you delete all of Thomas's pots? Why would you put Thomas on timeout, Chief Cook? I didn't delete anything. You put Thomas on timeout. Putting him on timeout deletes all of his messages. At least all of his recent messages as well. So why did you put him on timeout? Was it an accident? Was it a joke? He's trying to protect me. Oh, your ears were bleeding. Okay. Let's try not to put people on timeout unless they really, really, really deserve it. Computer malfunction. Okay. Sorry, Thomas. You'll be back in 150 seconds? Maybe less. John says, does Alexa and Siri make 75% what OK Google and Bixby make? I have no idea. I don't get. I'm being told that I apparently should have realized that Siri and Alexa, being women,
I'm not sure.
are making 75% of Google and Bixby because they are women compared to men. Sorry, John, that was well thought out on your part, but no, went over my head. Vixen says 300 seconds. Yes, but it'd already been at least 110 seconds, I think, by the time I said that. Thomas should be pretty much... You cut out for a second. Yes, I did. Damn it, Chief Cook. You can't keep timing Thomas Potts out. I don't know what's wrong, but I'm sorry. You lost the wrench for tonight. Thomas. Thomas, I am waiting for you to come back, my friend. And Vixen, I shut the mic for a second so I could talk to my mom without... Chief Cook says, I see what happened now. Oh, okay. You see what happened? That when you click on time somebody out, you see it times them out. Chief Cook says, give me a minute. Oh, okay, Joe. Now we've got to wait for Thomas to come back. You know what? While we wait for Thomas to come back, let's finish listening to Ronald Reagan.
We have great faith in and respect for our space program. And what happened today does nothing to diminish it. We don't hide our space program. We don't keep secrets and cover things up. We do it all up front and in public. That's the way freedom is, and we wouldn't change it for a minute. We'll continue our quest in space. There will be more shuttle flights and more shuttle crews, and yes, more volunteers, more civilians, more teachers in space. Nothing ends here. Our hopes and our journeys continue. I want to add that I wish I could talk to every man and woman who works for NASA or who worked on this mission and tell them your dedication and professionalism have moved and impressed us for decades, and we know of your anguish. We share it. There's a coincidence today. On this day, 390 years ago, the great explorer Sir Francis Drake died aboard ship off the coast of Panama. In his lifetime, the great frontiers were the oceans, and a historian later said he lived by the sea, died on it, and was buried in it. Well, today, we can say of the Challenger crew, their dedication was, like Drake's, complete. The crew of the Space Shuttle Challenger honored us for the manner in which they lived their lives. We will never forget them, nor the last time we saw them, this morning, as they prepared for their journey and waved goodbye and slipped the surly bonds of Earth to touch the face of God. Thank you.
Well, he was mostly right. There was a little bit of a cover-up in hindsight. But still, you know, filled you with confidence at least, if nothing else. Thomas, I hope you will at least hit a couple of keys once you can. I would hate to end the stream with you on timeout. My apologies for that. We will get that rectified. In fact, Thomas, I think you probably need a wrench. You're here all the time. You're the one who tells me that you can hear me. I think it's long overdue. So, Thomas, when you do hear this, assuming you have not left the stream and unsubscribed from me forever, go ahead and say something, and I will wrench you, my friend. And then you will not, I don't think, I'm not sure if you can be timed out or not but at least if you are, you can fight back. John says that's how Waspinator was created. And Thomas is back. And Thomas is now wrenched. And Chief Cook, I hope you figured it out. Your wrench is back too, because I'm that nice of a guy. Let's try and not time people out. Put people on timeout who don't need to be. Chief Cook earns a mega 5 on anti-tracker stream. Yeah, Thomas, that's probably the appropriate punishment. If there was a way I could make him listen to me sing something, I would, but let's face it, that would, I know I don't have to, Thomas, but I wanted to. That would punish everyone. That would punish everyone. Chief says he has to reboot the system. Okay. Do you want me to unwrench you until you reboot? Next time I can wrench you again if you're afraid that you're going to accidentally time someone out. Time for bed, Wayne. See you soon. Good night, Derek. Yeah, this stream is not going to be on much longer. I really just wanted to make sure we got Thomas back in. I really wish Anti-Tracker sent me the thing. I gotta check it. See, timing somebody out confused me. Anti-Tracker could have been begging for your help. And I won't know. Okay, Anti-Tracker. Okay. Well, I'm not gonna share the message, but it gives me, he doesn't say specifically if he's going live tonight. Let me ask him. We'll see if he answers. He doesn't specifically say that he's going to live stream tonight, but by the question he asked or the comment he made, I do get the feeling that he is indeed getting ready perhaps to stream momentarily. I don't know about momentarily, but to stream at some point. Chief Cook says, I have a Mac computer, sorry. Russian bots time Thomas P out, says John. Chief Cook says Anti-Tracker was on earlier today. Yes, he was. And he said he was going to try to come on again later from his daughter's house. And that maybe his daughter would come on with him. So Vixen says, tell him about our marriage. All must know. Yes, apparently Vixen and I traveled to Las Vegas We got married at the Little Chapel of Love by the real Elvis Presley. The only witnesses were our respective mothers. And then we flew each back to our individual homes. We are living apart for now, but we are married. I did not have a ring, but it counts. So everybody, all the other guys need to stay away from Vixen. She is spoken for. Now, if you know any other women, now I did not bring this up with Vixen, but I just assumed she was okay with it. Yes, my family believes my tradition in plural marriage. So if I'm sure Vixen won't mind having some sister wives. So yes, you're okay with sister wives, Vixen, right? I probably should have asked you before the ceremony. We need a party for that, Vixen. Who married, says Chief. Cook, that would be amazing, says Vixen. How sweet, says Derek. No way, says Vixen. Apparently, oh right, you were drugged. He gave me a ring pop, yes, cherry. The best ring pop. And I took the apple, because I'm that good. I'm that nice of a person. Actually, it was watermelon. Excuse me. Chief says Vixen married me. You married Chief Cook? So you were married before we got married? No, there can't be brother husbands. This isn't Denobula. Sister wives. You ever heard of a sister wife, Thomas? When a man takes more than one wife, the wives are sister wives to each other. God knows, says Vixen. Good, so it's not Denobula. So you're okay with sister wives. Got it. John says pop rocks. Pop rocks are what people threw at us as I was rolling down the aisle, and Vixen was walking. Well, actually, I guess we were leaving. Vixen was on my lap, and we were rolling down the aisle to the wheelchair-capable van that took us to our honeymoon, which was the Hoover Dam. I was going to take the dam tour, but it wasn't wheelchair accessible, so we decided to fly back to our respective states until such time that I can walk. Chief Cook says, Bird, did you get her drunk or something? She got me something. Pixie sticks. I was in his lap, says Vixen. Crickets. Chiclets. We're going to go through old candy. Okay, well, everybody in the wedding party, which was just the two people, they got Pez dispensers. That was the... No, I don't need to find a divorce lawyer. If we ever divorce, it will be like Mocklins. Or Klingons. See, if we got married by a Klingon, then divorce is pretty easy. A backhand and a spit. Yeah, we've gone so far off topic here. Thank you guys for hanging out. Thank you for helping me remember those astronauts on that sad day 33 years ago. We hope that they have seen the future, and we're happy with their legacy to the space program. There have been some amazing achievements with robots, with rovers, even if it's not with humans. And let's face it, it is probably much, much smarter to send rovers to Mars than people. But I don't think Chief Cook was looking for me, but okay. Resolute Germ says, do you really think Joe could outdrink Vixen? Chief Cook says, Vixen, do you sign a prenup? Did you sign a prenup? Or do you sign a prenup? Vixen says, Chief Cook, of course. And I get sassy in the divorce. No, you do not get sassy. Sassy is not on the table. Okay, guys. Good night. Qapla. Let's hope Anti-Tracker streams soon. It's already kind of late for me, but I'd be curious to watch it in the morning. Hope to see you tomorrow. Good night. Good night, Thomas. Qapla. Thank you all for watching my video. Please remember to comment, like, and subscribe. And don't forget to hit that bell icon. Without it, you won't get notifications of new videos. If you want to visit me, check out my forum at juot.net. I'm also on social media, on Facebook, Twitter, and Gab. And if you're really crazy, you can send me some money on PayPal. Take care.